Aulani, the Disney resort in Hawaii that I have been wanting to visit for years. I finally made it, and let me tell you, it was an incredible adventure. In today's video, I'm going to give you some of my overarching thoughts about Aulani, some of my favorite things, some things that you could probably skip, and some things that I think Disney should definitely improve. Now, if you're looking for more details about maybe restaurants or pools or all of that, not to worry, I'm going to make videos all about those things in the future. Now, if I was to give Aulani my own subtitle, I would call it the most relaxing Disney destination imaginable. I've been thinking about this for a few days now. How am I going to put into words the relaxation that you can feel at Aulani? And if you've been before, you probably know what I'm talking about. You sit back, you relax, you breathe in that fresh Hawaii air, and you see the theming all around you, all about Hawaiian culture. But just saying that doesn't do it any justice at all, because when I say that, I think to myself, okay, any tropical destination would be like Hawaii, but it is just so different. I can confidently say that it's not just a tropical destination for you to relax, this is all about Aulani and Hawaii as a whole. I never used to understand when friends of mine would go to Hawaii and then would start going year after year after year. I would just say, isn't this just like any other tropical destination? It just, maybe if you go to somewhere in the Bahamas, it's more convenient. And my friends would say, no, not at all. You just have to go and experience and you'll know what it's like. And after going, I totally understand. Maybe it's the fact that you are thousands of miles away from any cares in the world, or maybe it's the fact that Aulani just makes you feel so at ease and you see those sunsets and you can sit in the jacuzzis. Whatever it is the most relaxed I have ever been. It's very inconvenient to get out there, no doubt about it, and if you're coming from the East Coast like I do, it takes so long. You're traveling across the country and then over water. It's so inconvenient, but I would do it again in a heartbeat. My brother David and I love the pools and the jacuzzis and the lazy rivers. It was all so much fun, but one thing that really caught us off guard were those views. You know, we saw pictures of it and they looked really good, but when you can see the depth of color with the sunrise, with the sunset, and you're eating those amazing scallops at Ama Ama, oh my gosh, it's like nowhere else. Seeing the sunset from Ama Ama was an experience that David and I will never forget, but it is rather expensive to sit there, so our favorite spot that we agreed upon at Aulani is the adult-only infinity pool jacuzzis. We could have been in those jacuzzis for hours just relaxing. It's important not to, because you don't want to spend too much time in a hot tub, but we went between the pools, then back to the jacuzzi, and then the lazy river, and then back to the jacuzzi. We had a lot of fun. Now, one activity that I'm really glad we had the opportunity to experience was the snorkeling at Rainbow Reef. That snorkeling was absolutely amazing, and thanks to your suggestions, David and I knew to time it just right so we could do the fish feeding while we were snorkeling. Those plastic Mickey ears that we were holding onto was attached to the fish food that the fish would come up and eat, so we were right there with the fish. We were feeding them. It was so much fun. We didn't realize how much of a difference it was from regular snorkeling. When you snorkel in the ocean or at Castaway Cay, it feels like the fish are a little bit more aggressive. They want whatever you have. Do you have food for them? Are you going to feed them? At Rainbow Reef, they're fed extremely well, so they're not aggressive at all, and they're just kind of hanging out with you. I love this snorkeling. My brother said this was his all-time favorite snorkeling experience. Before I even boarded the plane to go to Hawaii, I knew that Aulani was a relatively subtle Disney resort in terms of the Disney theme. At first, I was thinking maybe it's just a limited number of character meet and greets, and while that is true, it goes deeper than that. There were a few character meet and greets which were fun. They had the Mickey shaved ice, some Mickey buttons when you check in, but besides that, it was relatively light on the Mickey and Pals experience. It was all entirely focused on the Hawaiian culture. At first, I wasn't so sure about this. I was thinking to myself, I want Disney to be a part of my vacation, and if this is just a Hawaii resort, maybe I just should go somewhere else so I can experience Hawaii for less of a cost. But not to worry, that feeling did not last long at all. If you're an avid Disney enthusiast like I am, you know that they are extremely good at bringing a theme into a resort, and that is exactly what they've done at Aulani. Now, there's nothing wrong with the simple theme. David and I walked over to the Four Seasons. It looked really nice just for an initial walk, but at Aulani, they take the theme to the next level, as you know Disney likes to do. Everywhere you look in Aulani, it is themed. Even the fences to Mama's Beach House, they have these surfboards that are the fences. It is so cool to see how deep the theme goes, and I personally really loved that attention to detail and felt really immersed in the Hawaiian culture while I was there. Speaking of attention to detail tied into Hawaiian culture, the Kawa'a Luau was spectacular. Mickey and Minnie made a quick appearance at the luau, but the depth of the story, the activities you can participate in, and the feeling of being immersed in the Hawaiian culture really put it over the top for me. I loved it and highly recommend it. And I know what you're thinking, Michael, is it really that much better than the luau at the Polynesian Village Resort? In my opinion, yes it is, but it's Hawaii. I expected nothing less. Now on to the food, and I would love to say that it was all spectacular, but unfortunately that was not the case. The food at the Kawa'a Luau, Mama's Snack Stop, the Ama Ama restaurant, and several items at Ulu Cafe were spectacular. The other restaurant choices, however, were hit and miss at best. The other dining locations had some food that was okay, but other things that I really didn't care for. At the Olelo room, the calamari was really good, but the expense of it really didn't justify that calamari dish. At Makahiki, I would not go back at all unless it was completely redone. It's tough for me to say, it really is, because I wanted to love all of the food, and the sushi buffet, I wanted that to be the best ever, but it really was not that good. It's important for me to say it because I want you to know it so that you don't go to Makahiki if you go to Aulani and instead go to Ama Ama. Ama Ama is more expensive, but worth it. Since we're on the topic of food, let's talk about price because that was super noticeable, especially at the restaurants. I know that in Hawaii, everything is more expensive, from gasoline to housing. I understand it completely. They have to ship a lot of things to the island. I get it, I really do. But some of the price of food was downright shocking. The best example I have is $16 for that small thing of calamari, and David and I ate at Ama Ama for over $130 for both of us. Goes to show the food is extremely expensive. However, that being said, I did feel like Ama Ama was more worth the price than Makahiki. I'd rather pay $130 for a phenomenal view with an amazing view and nice calm feelings of Hawaii all around me than $80, $85 for a buffet that I really didn't like and I felt stressed out and there was a lot of noise. I'd rather go to Ama Ama and pay more for a better experience than Makahiki for an experience that I really didn't care for. One of the biggest lessons that I learned from our Aulani adventure was that the crowds play a bigger role than most other Disney destinations. At Walt Disney World, there always tends to be some spot that you can escape to escape the crowds a little bit. On the Disney Cruise Line, they have a set number of rooms, and once they sell out, that's the end, and they don't get more crowded than that. But at Aulani, David and I saw a shocking difference between 3-day weekend crowds and the relatively low crowds during the week before Thanksgiving. It may seem surprising for me to say it, but David and I both felt like it was the difference between a stress-free vacation where you're relaxing, sitting back and enjoying the beach versus one where you feel a little bit packed in. I would go as far to say that if I was choosing between Walt Disney World and Aulani during Christmas week, let's say the week of Christmas, and there was a deal going on where Aulani was the same price as Walt Disney World and I had to choose between the two, I would immediately choose Walt Disney World. That is not because I don't like Aulani. I love it. It's one of my new favorite places to relax, but the crowds play such a role in your experience. You want to shape your vacation around the crowded times of year. Aulani was magical in so many ways, but keep in mind there aren't as many rides and experiences at Aulani that you will find at other parks around the world. So this is something to consider if you're thinking about Aulani for a family vacation. Yes, they do have Auntie's Beach House, but it's a very different experience than a theme park. While we're on the topic of Auntie's Beach House, I should also mention that David and I didn't get the feeling from the young ones who were around us that they wanted to get back to Auntie's Beach House really quickly. Most of them were interested in that game that you can play with the Menehune where you're trying to find them and find other things around Aulani. We didn't get this feeling of urgency like the kids wanted to go back to the kids club that we felt on the Disney Cruise Line. Just something to note. For those adults who want a stress-free, relaxing vacation, Aulani might be the perfect destination for you. But if you have younger ones in your party or those who love to run around the theme parks and there's no age limit to that, you may find Aulani a little bit on the slow side, but that's what it's meant to be. So it's something to consider. So what did you think of our Aulani vacation? What was your favorite part of the vlogs? Let me know in the comments below. And do you think Aulani would be good for you in the future? Are you starting to plan now? Let me know as well. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for being a part of the magic with me. Until next time, have a magical day.